Here we are again. We are now in, well, the end of June 2027 because we've just completed the 2026-27 season. Here for another thing. I guess we can just start at the Energy Drink Cup, the Carabao Cup, that is, where so this is a semi-final. Brentford actually made all the way to the final, only to lose to Arsenal. And we didn't actually have a look at who won it the year before. That was Liverpool, who won it previously, beating Arsenal in the final. So, them bottling it again, but they did eventually overcome Brentford. If we just have a look at the Premier League, as we can see, a new season is upon us. Um, I thought the table was looking identical to the teams that were currently there. The only difference is that Burnley isn't there, but Southampton is. That's because all of the newly promoted sides went down: Ipswich, Leicester, and West Brom. Liverpool win the Premier League title for a third time in a row now, and this time with a 9-point margin over City, where the season before it was goal difference that split them. If we have a look at the Liverpool squad again, Van Dijk is still there, Salah is, still quite a few. There's Barcola, who's started a bit more. Zabazlai on the bench. Ekitike, Gravenberch. Matty Cash is there, who's currently at Aston Villa in the real world. Teo Hernandez. Harvey Elliott as well. I hope we do have a look at the Manchester City squad also. I didn't actually have a look at where Arsenal finished third again. So yeah, this time Tottenham with a bit more of a disappointing season in ninth. Everton staying up in the Premier League by a point. But yeah, again, having a look at that City squad. Rodri is there, Haaland is there. We've even got Michael Elise over there. Kepa Arrizabalaga as well. Sankets. So yeah, the things have changed slightly. Ademola Lookman as well. Nipan. I'm just having a look. Kanji here for a second. So he went to Inter Milan, but then he went back to City ahead of the season. But is he out on loan? Probably is. Anyways, just a quick look at stuff there. If we have a wait, if we have a look in the EFL Championship, the league below the Premier League, Southampton, as well as Sunderland and Nottingham Forest returned after relegation. Southampton has returned once again. Burnley finished just outside the playoffs. Sheffield United missed out on the playoffs again. Well, via the playoffs again. Uh, the season before, Sheffield United finished 15th. So yeah, Charlton, Bolton and Hull will go down Stockport here in the Championship, just about stay up. Stoke just about stay up. Luton are back in the Championship as well. If we have a look abroad now, from the British perspective, let's have a look in France, where PSG absolutely smashed the league in 25-26, and they do so again, this time by a significantly bigger margin of an incredible 28 points over Stade Brestois, who came second, which is impressive for them. Lille, I'm sorry, not Lille, that's Lyon. Lille finishing fifth, Lyon in third, and Marseille in fourth. Montpellier survived relegation via the relegation promotion playoffs. Although Lens and Toulouse are down, Lens, a bit baffled to see them go down. Although they did have a quite disappointing season the season before. But I think only a few years ago, they were in the Champions League, and now they are going to Liga 2. If we have a look at Germany, we've got the Bundesliga, and Bayern win it again by 18 points total. Dortmund again miss out on the Champions League places. Paderborn has got relegated, but also Borussia Mönchengladbach, who are a well-established side in the Bundesliga. Schalke overcoming Mainz to stay in the top flight. Hamburg and Heidenheim as well are still here. Leverkusen round off the European places. Leipzig, Frankfurt and Wolfsburg again in the top four. Although Bayern running away as league winners. Looking at the Serie A, well, Napoli win by a singular goal over, I think, Lazio they are. That's my guess anyway. Yeah, that's Lazio. So Lazio coming incredibly close, and no way did they actually play. Oh, of course, I actually forgot about this. In the Serie A, they have this rule where it's like if there is a point where there's a split in key places, so they'll sort out the table after points in goal difference. But if, say, like it's the Champions League or Europa League place or a relegation place being determined or the title, then they will play a match, which was won here by Napoli, who won the league after a singular match over Lazio, despite their superior goal difference. So Napoli won the league because of that singular game. And obviously because, they secured 81 points, which matched their opponents. Inter Milan came third, 4 points behind the two, and Juventus with 69 points in fourth. Roma and Bologna round up the rest of the top six, whilst Pisa, Palmiro, and Frosinone, they get relegated. If we have a look at the other top league, well, Real Madrid are the champions by 6 points. Okay. So yeah, they won it with 99 points. They won it with 96 points. So again, an incredible amount of consistency. 6 points over Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, and Villarreal, making up the rest of the top four. Athletic Bilbao, Real Sociedad, and I think that's Real Betis. Unless that is, I actually don't know. That's kind of annoying. I think that's Real Betis. But yeah, I think another interesting league would probably be Turkey. First of all, if we have a look at what happened in 25-26, Galatasaray won it by 3 points. And here again, Galatasaray. So yeah, if we just have a look at the league in a bit of closer detail, your 2 consecutive titles now. In fact, more than 2 consecutive, way more. 5 consecutive league titles for the side from Istanbul. Fenerbahce has become prime Arsenal, coming sixth in coming second in the last 6 seasons. Then they were also second in 2018, 16, 15, 13, 12. Like absolute, like this is just like this is Fenerbahce, yeah, and this is absolutely shameful. It's already in the real world, second 4 times in a row, and an added 2 times just makes it look worse. But never mind, we move on. If I know where I'm going. By the way, the FA Cup champion. Okay, that's annoying. Remember, I'm a Manchester City supporter. Yeah, good to know we won in 26. But just like in 2024, 3 years later, Manchester City go out and lose to our rivals, Manchester United, in the FA Cup final, which is sad. The Conference League was won by TSG Hoffenheim. Yep. Usually, this is a tournament where we get really obscure winners like Crystal Palace, West Ham, Fiorentina, although they've never won it. This was how the league phase looked. I mean, Manchester United were down here even and still didn't win against this side. You know, the tree. So Manchester United were the ones who lost in the final to Hoffenheim. Ouch. That's annoying. For them, that is. And if we have a look in the Europa League, oh, we found ourselves with the XG table. Let's bring up last season and look at the league phase, where Sporting tops it. Chelsea were down here, Celtic, Villarreal, Fenerbahce, Dortmund, Lille, Monaco. We've got Girona down here, Crystal Palace after winning the Conference League, Paris FC, Shakhtar Donetsk, Aberdeen, Crvena Zvezda, Lech Poznan. And if we have a look at the tournament tree, Chelsea won. Chelsea, the champions, will be in the Champions League next season. Knocking out Stuttgart along the way, Dortmund, Panathinaikos. Yeah. And finally, the Champions League. We can already see it. Hang on a minute. No way. Absolutely no way. Hang on. Let me just. Well, first of all, let's bring up the league phase because I'm already looking at the final over here. But Manchester City top the league, 7 of 8 wins. Bayern PSG, Atletico, Real, Newcastle, Liverpool, Barcelona. Arsenal had to go through the playoffs. So did Juventus. So did Inter. So did Benfica. So did Leverkusen. So did Leipzig. So did Spurs. Yeah, quite a few teams had to go through that. But we had a Champions League final between Manchester City and Newcastle of all teams. Manchester City won on aggregate. I'm sorry, not on aggregate, on penalties. It says we lost 1-0. I think that was like the second leg. But we had to go all the way to penalties to beat Newcastle in the Champions League final. Like, take that in. Newcastle have made it all the way to the Champions League final. By the way, what a comeback from Manchester City against Inter Milan. I'm glad that we've won the Champions League, for a second time. But Newcastle knocking out Barcelona and Real Madrid to get to the final. I mean, Newcastle, they went to penalties, it seems. But Newcastle, wow. To the Champions League final. That's it. And where did they finish in the Premier League? Oh, fifth. So they will be in the Champions League next season. Well, no, they won't. They'll be in the Europa League. They didn't win it, so unless we qualified for that extra spot, if we did. But wow. The fact, though, that Newcastle made the final of the Champions League, though, is absolutely crazy. That's the equivalent of basically saying Ipswich qualifying for the Champions League. Yeah, well done, Newcastle. Mm. Yeah, I'm just seeing if there's other things I can do around here. I mean, I'm playing as an unemployed manager, so yeah, I'm unlikely to get a job in this save because the only purpose of us being here is just to kind of observe what happens. Anyways, that was it for today. Bye. Hopefully you enjoyed the 26-27 season.